Greetings, welcome, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I came across something which I found very interesting. Just going about my day. Whitehead. Now this may be coming across backwards, probably. Not sure. It says, Bling Bishop guilty. Whitehead is convicted of fraud, extortion charges, faces 45 years in prison. And this is Tuesday, March 12th. So I'm going to read the article, which is why I have my glasses on. I don't normally wear glasses, but at the end of the day, 12-hour day, my eyes are a little tired. So let's see. Article page. Okay. Bishop abused their trust. Whitehead found guilty on fraud, attempted extortion charges. Bling Bishop Lamour Whitehead was convicted at his Manhattan trial Monday of stealing the life savings of a parishioner's mother and perpetrating other schemes, falsely claiming along the way that Mayor Adams, who is the mayor of New York, had given him the key to the city to carry out his fraud. I think there's a connection, a personal connection between this bishop and the mayor, as in friends, or they've come across each other's paths somewhere along the line. Jurors found Whitehead, 46, guilty of 5 counts, including wire fraud, attempted extortion, lying to the FBI, and related charges stemming from 3 separate schemes after deliberating for just a few hours in Manhattan federal court. Quote, "We are appealing the verdict," Whitehead's lawyer, Dawn Florian, said in brief remarks. The headline-grabbing pastor, whom Adams has described as a mentee, and pled not guilty to all charges. He could not immediately be reached for comment, but he gave a teary-eyed soliloquy, that's what it says, soliloquy, the day before the verdict. Quote, This is a time where we rejoice in the Lord. This is not a time to be sad. I know I have got choked up in a little bit, but it's my eyes. But just thinking about the goodness and thinking about the badness, it was the goodness. Whitehead, I'm sorry, my eyes, I apologize. Whitehead mumbled toward the end of a live streamed sermon on Sunday, wiping tears from his eyes. There are always going to be people who wish your downfall. He continued, but understand, their God will step up. Don't worry about tomorrow, because we know who holds tomorrow. Amen. And might I say, that was the same thing that the couple, and I apologize, my brain is not working because, again, it's on the end of the day, the couple who just went to jail for tax fraud, who had that TV show, that's the same thing that they said before they were convicted. Anyway, jurors heard during the trial how Whitehead targeted the single mom of one of his parishioners at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Canarsie, Brooklyn, which is one of the boroughs of New York. New York has 5 girls. The woman, Pauline Anderson, was targeted along with a money lending company and Bronx businessman Brandon Belmont, Belmonte. The defendant was trusted by many in his community. He was the bishop of a small church in Brooklyn and a self-described businessman. He was a friend in the mayor of New York City. Yeah, to the mayor of New York City. He was a friend to Eric Adams, who was the mayor, current mayor. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jessica Greenwood said last month to the government's opening statements, the defendant abused that trust by lying again and again. When she took the stand, Anderson emotionally told jurors about the woman who was scammed, about trusting Whitehead, a mentor and spiritual advisor to her son, to invest $90,000 of her life savings accumulated during her career as a nurse. The pastor claimed he would use the proceeds to buy and renovate a fixer-upper home. After being refused a bank loan, she said the investment was his idea and that the preacher had presided over her son. Rashid Anderson is wedding and introduced him to contracts who helped him secure his own house. I trusted him, an emotional Anderson testified February 27th. He said he had real estate experience. He was a man of God. He prayed for me in earnest. I believed in God, and I believed he would honestly help me to get this house. We all know the marketplace is a little crazy right now. But in New York and some of the other bigger cities, it's ridiculously crazy. We're talking millions of dollars. Matter of fact, I saw a outside where it's available when they have vacancies. It was $850,000 for a studio in a newer building, for a studio. And then the monthly HOA fees for these type of places, you're still talking $1,500. So you have to pay that mortgage and then pay the HOA fees. What kind of money is that? I mean, really, that's the way it goes. But anyways, trial evidence showed that Whitehead, personally convicted of identity theft, spent the cash on himself. With the funds giving to designer clothing, his BMW, Grubhub, Foot Locker, and other lavish purchases. As the victim's son tried to get back his mother's savings, Whitehead, in a text, said he was asking God to extract vengeance on him. Wow. Anderson told jurors on the trial's second day. In a second scheme, the feds described how Whitehead used his ties to the mayor to squeeze Belmont, the Bronx businessman, for a $500,000 real estate investment. In an intercepted conversation, Whitehead told Belmont that Adams, the mayor, whom he referred to as E, as his first name, and was key to the city and could help them with lifting stop work orders on property the pastor and Belmont were talking about buying together. Stop work order is when the construction starts, there has to be an inspection as to whether things are going in the right direction. If all the paperwork is not done, if the licensed contractor is not a licensed contractor. Certain things have to be in order, and they check these things. And if it's not in order, they'll stop right immediately, and everybody goes home. I don't care who's there. They will put signs up, stop work order, and it is a public notice, public information that any property that is not meeting the criteria, it has a stop work order on it, and no continued work can be done. Let's see, where was I? The mayor was not, accused of wrongful in this case. The feds stressed from the onset that Whitehead promises if mayor help was false. I apologize for my bad reading. My eyes are really hurting. Whitehead promises of mayoral help were false. So he promised the mayor was going to help him with all of these ventures. Okay. Adams' campaign is under federal investigation, with several close allies having their homes raided in recent months. After the pastor's testimony, in which he claimed that the FBI agent had presented him to help us get the mayor of New York, according to the New York Times. The prosecution and Whitehead lied during the time on the stand. The mayor has known the crooked pastor since his pals days to Brooklyn Borough president, and appeared with him to multiple official events, introducing Whitehead as his good friend. At a 2016 concert, the defendant, who mounted the failed 2021 campaign to succeed Adams as Brooklyn Borough president, has said his constituents, the mayor is his mentor and brother. In yet another fraud of which Whitehead was evicted, showed, that's what it says. In yet another fraud of which Whitehead was convicted, evidence showed that he drew up phony bank statements to get a $250,000 loan, perpetrating to show that he had millions in a company account. It's a Trump thing. Okay, in an account that he had loaned 56, whatever that says. I can't even read it. That he had less than $56. He had less than $56 in the account. That he said he had $250,000 in the account. Whitehead abruptly started making city headlines after Adams took office in January 2022, along with unsuccessfully trying to facilitate the surrender of an accused subway killer in May 2022, drawing authorities' wrath. Whitehead himself, when robbed in a caught-on-camera stick-up at a job on his surveillance last June. He was robbed, supposedly. I haven't seen the video. Supposedly I did see the video. He was at the pulpit, and someone came into the church to rob him as he was giving the Sunday service. And he was so taken aback, he literally dropped to the floor, and not only was he robbed, but the parishioners were robbed. Jewelry, cell phones, and the like. Whitehead could face up to 45 years in prison when sentenced on July 1st. A spokesman for Manhattan U.S. Attorney Damian Williams declined to comment. Whether he's actually called of God, don't know. But money is obviously his God. 2024 is a year of reveal. God is going to expose, and wrath and judgment. God's not playing. These pastors, whether they're called or not, and they're taking people's money. $90,000, that's the lady's savings. All she wanted was a home to spend the rest of her years with, and see her grandkids probably once her son married. Just to have that security and knowing that she's established in that way. As if he needed it. This man wears every single suit. Every single time you'll see a picture of him, he's wearing some designer suit that always has some graphics, something on it. It's very, to me, very loud suits, very audacious clothing. He's always very showy. But nonetheless, God's not playing. God's not playing. And it doesn't mean that it's just pastors. It's everyone. It's everyone. So I pray that you all seek the Lord. And if there's anything that the Lord leads you to do in order for your life to be in line with him, he's facing 45 years. We'll see what the sentence will be, whether he'll be given a lenient sentence or an ankle bracelet. However, because it's a white collar crime. It's not murder. You know, there's no blood on his hands in the sense that he put his hands on people. It is a white collar crime. And they can be just slashed real easy. Okay, go home. Don't do it again. We'll see how that works out. June the 1st. Okay? Be well.